Welcome to the Dave Palma Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail? I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Palma.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Palma Show. And with me in this episode, I should say, is the author of 9 books. And his first book, A Child Called It, was on the New York Times bestsellers list for recording a record-setting 6 years. And his other books were also on the New York best-selling sellers list for over 12 years. Dave Pelzer, welcome to the Dave Palma Show.
Thank you. Good morning, or good morning to me, and good afternoon to you.
Yeah, that's right. Good afternoon to me, and sorry for getting up in the morning. I've got to do a school run and everything else. I've had a busy time. My bank's given me the wild goose chase. They said my card has been compromised, so I've had to almost missed this show actually today. So thank God we just made it.
after watching the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible film, I think AI is everywhere.
It felt like that. It really felt like that.
Biden's going to sign the regulation today, so I'm going to follow Arnold Schwarzenegger around to make sure there's no Terminator. No nonsense going on.
I had to go through so many hoops and codes and passwords, and then they said, oh, no, this fraud section don't deal with it. It's gone higher, and it was like Mission Impossible. They're almost speeding on the way back, and I don't want to speed, obviously.
And I want to. I have a question for AI. What do you eat? Because you're gobbling up an awful lot of stuff, Mr. AI. You know.
We'll find out. We'll soon find out. It's probably something you can ask AI himself.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Well, let's get to it. You've got 9 books, which is fantastic. I've only got one book and one essay, say, for part of my degree that I wrote. So you could call it another book, I suppose. But you're the author of 9 books, which is fantastic, and you've got a great story to tell. I wanted to tell your story really, and then get people to know your books. You know where they can find you for your books after. And part of your story would be how you got to write your books, I suppose. So tell us your humble beginning. Go on.
The first book, A Child Called It, chronicle talks about my situation of being abused by my mother, who was very, very ill. And it kind of came about as a letter initially from my teachers.
Right.
I gave myself 10 years once I was rescued at age 12. Oh. And I thought, write them a thank you letter, become a good person, pay it forward, and 10 years wasn't enough because I was very new in the Air Force, flying for the military and so forth. And I thought, give myself 20 years. And then during that time period, I got involved with child abuse prevention, became a counselor in juvenile hall while I was serving in the Air Force. And it slowly became a book. And it's really a story about resilience rather than, abuse. Yeah. And I know some people say, oh my goodness, it's horrific. And I can't read something like that. I say, well, this happens. So imagine living it. And then the other part of the story is what these teachers did behind the scenes to help me out without me knowing. Because back in my day, we didn't have the penal codes to help those try and report abuse. Or we didn't have a very sturdy penal code to protect children that we should have. Mm-hmm. So it was just... And I'm also proud to say that the book, the printed version before it was published, was given to my teachers on the exact day of my 20th anniversary of my rescue. Because I kind of act affable and I'm kind of a funny guy, but I'm really serious about being of service to others and praising those, a valuable service. And I think, there's a lot of lessons with COVID because it was just everywhere. It was war of the world pandemic in a sense. Mm. And maybe if COVID taught us anything, it taught us who is really stepping up to help out others in a time of amazing crisis. Because I weighed about maybe 64, 68 pounds at age 12 when I was rescued. My skin, because I didn't bathe and I lived in the basement when I wasn't going to school, my skin had like a slimy yellow tint to it. And for the fact that these people rescued me in a time I thought my mother was very close to killing me was just a godsend. And that's why the book resonated well, because as a writer, I kind of write as if I'm a film director. I'm very visual. and A Child Called It was very fast paced and very graphic and very visual.
Mm-hmm.
And hence it was an 8-year-old boy's scope, because little boys like, oh my gosh, they just explode all over the place.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a very, very nice tribute. And I'm very proud of the book. It did very well. And I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of that.
No, it sounds like a fantastic story to.
It's a different story. It's a story. And then I was asked, because I thought, okay, I felt like George Lucas was Star Wars. The original film was just Star Wars. And then they said, oh, episode 4. Okay. So I was asked, well, what happens after you were rescued, David? And I thought, well, here's a good story. Let's talk about an alien, per se, from another planet who does not fit into the mainstream. I don't speak the language. I don't hold currency, per se. And then how do you mold a child? Because I was, again, in the basement on and off from 4 and maybe from 6 to 12, permanently in the basement. I wasn't going to school. And I became the family slave. I wasn't allowed to speak or look at my siblings' eyes. I was very basically just a non-entity. And I'm thinking, what do we do with a child like that to make that child, per se, normal? Hence, the gracious work of social services and foster care. And I thought, that's a nice story. So that's where it kind of became, eventually became a trilogy. And then, I did some self-help books. And then the last book 9, Return to the River, is about dealing with COVID and unexpected situations that happen in a normal life and trying to physically, psychologically, and spiritually move on.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's definitely something you have done, isn't it, really? I mean, you've had some great success now moving on and doing 9 books and becoming a celebrity New York bestseller.
It's one of those, I got to tell you, it's nice when you're in the middle of it, because I was also when the books were, before the books made it, I was also doing a tremendous amount of in-service training for social services and teachers and police officers. I had the rank of chief with the Air Force, so I would always visit military bases or do fundraisers and comedy shows. And with that, I received a few accolades. The State Volunteer of the Year when I was active duty, which was amazing for me. And then, I'm kind of a romantic, and I study history a great deal. And my heroes back in my day were Chuck Yeager and Christopher Reeves, who played Superman.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
Wells.
I was 15 when that movie came out, I think.
Yeah.
Christopher Reeves, yeah.
They received something called the 10 Outstanding Young American, like Elvis Presley and President Kennedy. I mean, oh my gosh. And then a year later, I was the only American to get the Outstanding Young Person of the World award. Because a lot of people, when they write, they think, oh, this book's going to just explode and it's going to make me. And I say, no. The book is the tip of your pinky, and you still have the other fingers in the palm. So I was able, when I would go to different cities, because of the accolades, I would get interviewed a lot. Like, what is the Outstanding Young Person of the World doing in Wahoo, Nebraska, population of 5? Well, we're trying to help people out. And I've also have had an adventurous life. Again, a child with no coordination, and I didn't speak very well. And eventually I was a mid-air refueler for the Air Force with the SR-71 Blackbird, which you remember as the spy plane that we had in oh my goodness, Mildenhall Air Base.
I've heard of Blackbird, yeah. I've heard of the Blackbird,
and then I remember at age 52, when I was semi-retired, I became a volunteer, highly trained firefighter, and that was very adventurous. And there's a saying that I give my young firefighters and young airmen is live a grand adventure so you can tell a good story, to live a good story. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, when they've been traumatized, particularly by issues, it just burdens them so much. It crushes them. And that really pains me, because I try to tell people, life is unfair and life is very quick, but you endure and you survive for a reason, and you survive to be happy. It's like this, David. I've never met anybody who's come up to me, tears, and said, oh my God, I am a victim of cancer. They say, no, I survived cancer. I fight cancer, and every day is a blessing.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
a lot of my works, whether it's just giving common sense advice or listening, but I just want everybody to deal with the situation, to look at it for what it was, not think it still is, and move forward in happiness and peace, particularly again as we adjust to a post-COVID world.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And I know, I think I said there's something about you, actually, where you are, you mentioned earlier that you sort of served people all the time, but during the pandemic and the COVID, it was kind of reversed, or kind of looked at yourself or something. Could you tell me more about that?
Well, what happened to me during COVID? I was a fire captain in 2 separate districts in Northern California,
Yeah.
and it takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get from one to the other. And because of the lockdown and slowly opening up, I really wanted to be of service. And at the same time, I had two unexpected situations that I had to deal with as life happens. And I had to move, and there was no place to move to. I have to pack boxes. It was just such a stress-filled time. I look at it now and thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know how I did it. But at the same time, what I try to do with my life is not make it about me, particularly when I write. It's really about the reader. And I can't imagine how single parents imagine having 1.5 kid per se, and your kids are home. They got to be educated. They got to still eat, family unit, and the stresses they go through. And all I wanted to do was really, be of service. And I'm really a weird writer. It usually takes me 6 months to percolate, to really get ideas, and then it takes me about 9 hours to write one paragraph, because I'm a very slow writer. I feel like Christopher Nolan, the director. I'm very thorough, and there's lots of threads involved in this story. And somehow, after I moved to away from Northern California, I somehow just came up with an idea for a story about what would it be like to be in the middle of a pandemic and still try to be of service while life is hitting you in every direction. So it's really about just moving forward again and trying to truly, truly look at yourself, do some self-inventory. At my age, at 63, there's a saying that President Nixon had: you write your best memoirs in jail, because there's nothing else to do. So I took a lot of inventory of my life, good and bad, and kind of put it in the book. And the book Return to the River is really a romantic love story about family dynamics. Some of it's very dark, but it's really a beautiful story about, okay, this is where I'm at, good or ill. I only have so much time and energy left, and I'm going to be happy with the remainder of my time. So that's what I try to do, is every day. Maybe this sounds a little awkward. Maybe being smacked around for 12 years, it made me appreciate everything that I have today. To this day, David, I have to tell you, every time water is a big thing for me. Taking a shower, oh my gosh, eating every bite. And my biggest thing, if I got to tell you, if I had Oprah money, every day I would have clean sheets. I love clean sheets. And people look at me like, you're such an idiot, David. I'm going, you have no idea. And I think, again, in my country, unfortunately, we just had a massive shooting in Massachusetts, another just senseless tragedy. In the Bay Area, there's a shooting in Oakland, California, every single day, and people are just flash mobs bursting into retailer stores and running out, grabbing everything. So I try to tell people, if the kids come home safe from school, that's a great day. Every time we can pay the mortgage or rent, that's fantastic. It's just a different mindset. So I just try to, if I can live it and give it to people. And I feel like the older I am, I'm slowing down from traveling, and I want to be an ambassador of goodwill per se. My job is to somehow lift up spirits and make people move forward and be happy at the same time. And I think it's a moral obligation for you with your show. And I have a podcast show, and that's the same thing I do. It's like, okay, here's where we're at. Let's move forward, and let's be happy about the adventure that we're going to live.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, I mean, it's fantastic the way you've really summarised it. I didn't even have to ask her any questions
You're
because
like,
you
okay,
pretty
what do
much,
we do now?
yeah, it's kind of like that,
I'll
really.
sing and dance.
I was interested to know actually when you it was during the pandemic, reflection of life choices during a pandemic. So really, it was a reflection of what you're going to be doing during the pandemic, I suppose. What choices you're making, isn't it?
Well, it's what I did is I found myself, and I was turning 60, and I went through an unfortunate, unexpected divorce. I did not see it coming in any way. My wife at the time, beautiful lady, God bless her, had moved away to be closer to her son and her family in Southern California. I says, okay, great. I'll just stay up here in Northern California, fight fire, stay busy.
Yeah.
And actually, it was just the separation was too much.
Oh,
And I did not. And I thought, oh my God, you're 60. No one gets divorced at 60. No one gets divorced right before a pandemic. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then and all the things that happens. And it was not a bad divorce. I was very gracious, and I know we still love each other, which is so important because this, this, David, and I hope your audience really receives this. Is if you give out hate and if you give out anger, it consumes you. Yeah. Particularly again at my age, how much time and energy do we have left? And you direct it. You can never, he said, she said. It's almost like, there was in America, we had the divorce of Johnny Depp and his wife. And they thought, we're going to splash this 24 hours a day.
That's awful.
How important is that? When I lost, 1 million people, your country lost hundreds of thousands. There's always something that really matters. So I just wanted to be as kind and as possible and gracious as possible. And looking at it now, I'm so glad I did that because I was abused as a child. I could have hated. They told me that when I was in foster care, a year and a half into foster care, I was like 13, 14. They said there is no chance that I'm going to make it. I was just isolated for too long. The abuse was just off the charts. They said I was
a nice thing to say, is it? So
I mean, it's life.
Yeah,
it's not fair. And I thought to myself, if I could survive all that I did without any help or training, this is going to be my path.
Yeah.
And at times, of course, everybody gets angered, everybody gets overwhelmed, and you flash out or you say something or do something stupid that you inventory, you regret, and hopefully improve yourself. So I've always tried to be on the path of being kind and gracious. And at the same time, I was so blessed where people were under a complete lockdown that I was able to move as a firefighter and get people groceries or do this or, still respond to, because life goes on. There's going to be medical calls. There's going to be helicopters involved. There's fires involved. And I was very fortunate. And if you look at my life, at the right time, at the right place, that's what we said in the book, that I was on an edge and yet I would get texts. I was all alone. I would get texts. Hey, I haven't heard from you in 5 years. How are you doing? Oh my gosh. And it's amazing,
isn't it? Yeah.
It's amazing when you think you're isolated and alone that you get that tap on the shoulder or someone says, hello, how are you doing today? And you just feel, oh my gosh, you feel that gift of sincerity. Yes. So my entire life, again, when I was rescued, it was a Friday and I was scheduled per se to be home alone with my mother as my siblings were away. And that was the weekend I thought my mother was going to kill me. Hence, I was rescued. I was rescued that day. And I cannot tell you, David, how many times I've been alone or I've been on this crazy edge. I'm about to fall off the psychological cliff. And somehow, whether it's spirit or luck or stupidity, I was transformed. I was the rising phoenix. And I'm just so grateful for the life that I've been given. I can cry and whine. One, it ain't going to make a difference at my age. Two, is that going to be the remainder of my life? Because I see people, David, I call them the walking dead. So miserable. They're so miserable. They're all fingers and they got toxic. They're so toxic. It's all this crap is coming out of their heart. Yeah. And I said, what is such a waste? Because again, you survive for a reason and you survive to be happy. And if you're fortunate, I think it's an obligation to help others out because in my country, we're going to see a lot of mental illness because of COVID and because of this and because of that, whether it's fentanyl, COVID, unemployment. Oh my God, civil disobedience. I think it's a time that we just be calm, take it day by day, and be the best person that we can be.
Yeah. It's absolutely what it's all about. It's take each day. We don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. We could win $1 million from the lottery, or
man plan and God laughs. There it is.
Excellent. Well, Dave, it's a fantastic story you've told me, and of course, it's a great honour to speak to you. I'm ex-firefighter myself, retired firefighter.
And I'll say something else. Because of my adventures or whatever, we do a salutation in my country like, thank you for your service. I'm going to get out. Because you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. You have not served in the military. You haven't, that's what I kind of say in my country. I said, you have to pardon my vernacular, but I said the day of the ass clowns are over. This professional, motivational speaker crap. I didn't see any of them, David, walk an old lady across the street or help out during COVID. So I say to you with hand on heart, I want to thank you for your service as a firefighter and surviving all those years. And secondly, that you have a show that promotes goodwill and promotes, let's have integrity. Let's be resilient. Let's do something. Because a lot of people think, I can't do anything unless I have $100 million. Or I'm not going to be happy until I get money, get married, have the kid, buy the home. I say, stop. Do random acts of kindness every day. My program is I do that. I like to make people laugh. And again, I want to keep myself in check. I always want to say, okay, Dave, slow down. Don't be too judgmental, but Dave, be a better person. So I want to thank you for the work that you're doing, sir.
Thanks very much for that. And I can relate to some of the things you spoke about, but obviously this show is really about my guest today to help others out there. And saying that, before you go, I'd like to get my audience to find out where to find you and find your podcast and all your books and everything.
Well, the books are everywhere. You just can't escape that, for goodness sakes. I swear to you, I was in your country a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I will never forget. It was a beautiful day, and there was like 300 people waiting. And I don't like to keep people waiting, but I like to give people at least, hi, how you doing? 1 minute of my time. How's the family? But the books are in stores. There's Amazon. I do have a website called, I think it's davepelzer.com.
Right.
And I'm trying to think. I have a show, the podcast show is called The Dave Pelzer Show, and you just click for that. And I do it every 3 to 4 weeks because I'm still, even though I'm semi-retired, I'm so busy. Which I like that. There's a saying
here. I end up being busy. I think I mentioned to you.
I saw a show, and I'm not trying to promote this guy. He doesn't need my help. It's a show on Netflix called Arnold, and it's 3 separate episodes on Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the first episode's about bodybuilding, and then business, and the third one's about governor. And at the end of the third episode, and this is so important, he says, I made a lot of mistakes. I own up to it. And you see this guy, he's 70 plus, skiing like crazy, having a good time. And his line is so important. He says, life is about movement. So you got to keep moving, stay busy. And that means here as well. So I'm trying to do that,
Nice.
try to stay busy.
Yeah.
So
it's not
such a pleasure.
Really.
And actually, don't tell anybody. Okay, keep us on the down low. After I'm done with your show,
be quiet. Okay.
That's right, everybody. After I'm done with your show, I'm going to have the rest of the day off. I'm going to play hooky.
Oh yeah. Well, I'd like to have a game of golf every now and then, but I haven't played for a while. So
I haven't. And that's the thing too is I love golf. I love golfing alone because I just relax more.
Okay,
and I'm at the stage. I say, my son used to say, when are we going to do this, Dad? I say, next year. And I'm at the age, we have to do it now. You have to live your adventure now.
Yeah.
So you got to keep moving. There was a line, and they actually put it in one of your films from England. The line is, the purpose of man is to live, but not to exist. I shall not waste my time trying to prolong them. I shall use my time, and that's by a writer Yeah. It was featured in a small film called No Time to Die with the James Bond film.
Right,
and they were telling Mr. Bond like he had an adventurous life. Boom, keep moving. Whatever time and energy you have, make it work for you, not against you.
Fantastic. Well, what a great way to end this episode, Dave. And Dave, it's been a fantastically great pleasure speaking to you, and I hope I come across you again and come on my show. And
you got my number. When I say in Bond, you know the name, you know the number. Give us
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, do you have any poll with Michael Wilson and Barbara Broccoli? For God's sakes, can we cast Bond? I don't care if it's Big Gay Al from South Park. I need some Bond, for goodness sakes. Okay, that's your mission. Should you accept it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's a good old fire service humour as well that keeps us in check. Because I suppose that I miss that as well. I suppose, but. Some of it can go overboard, but hey, that's just life, isn't it? I suppose. But anyway, well, Dave, once again, thanks a lot for coming and sharing coming on my show. It's such a pleasure having a celebrity, and as I said, I can share.
Well, thank you again, sir, and I wish you, your family, and your listening audience all the best. And it's my honor. Thank you, sir.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. Or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Palmer Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.